Thanks, Petra. And Lauren.
Kia ora koutou. So this item is about the inquiry into climate adaptation that the Parliamentary Environment Committee has opened, and the item is just to ask for a delegation of to the Chair and the Deputy Chair and an IMSB member to approve Auckland Council's submission due to time constraints, with the submissions closing on the 1st of November.
Thanks, Petra.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to add to that, there was an earlier discussion around the highly productive land and the extension of time. This is slightly different because this is a select committee inquiry. So, and of course they're not sitting anymore, so they can't grant an extension. And of course we're not quite sure what would happen post government, but nonetheless. We think it is worth doing this. It's just not quite the same situation where we can ask for an extension. So hence, because of the timeframes, we're asking for that delegation. But just wanted to compare those two items today. Thanks.
I'm happy to move, Madam Chair.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions?
And does that motion give the authority of the Chair and Deputy to appear in front of the Select Committee, or we just assume that?
Sorry, Petra, do we know whether there'll be a hearing in the sense, because this is a discussion document, really, this is not a piece of legislation yet. It's kind of the pre, so I'm not sure there'll be hearings. So Petra will know.
Yes, we don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any comments?
The Chair and the Deputy.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely.
Through the Chair, yes, and B, we're saying that we will circulate the draft so you'll have an opportunity to read it and provide your feedback, and of course you can talk outside of that and whatever you need to do. Yep.
I'll put the item. All in favour? Against? That's carried. Thank you, Petra and Lauren. Item 15, Biodiversity Credit System, another discussion document. Taryn and Dave.
Kia ora koutou. This item is about an initial discussion document from the Ministry for the Environment, which is exploring a biodiversity credit system, and we provided a draft submission on that document attached to the committee report. So today we're seeking approval of the draft and approval to a delegated authority to help us finalise the submission, ready for it to be submitted by the 3rd of November.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'm happy to move.
Thank you. And a second. Councillor Filipaina, do we have any questions? Sorry, Mike.
There's a massive amount of pine forest being planted and exotics with really bad consequences. Will this help to counterbalance that?
Yes, that is one of the intentions of the government, that you'd be able to apply biodiversity credits and then funding to encourage native afforestation rather than...
Sure. So in respect of our submission, on the one hand, are we extolling the merits of biodiversity, but on the other hand, are we also indicating the impact of the opposite, which is effectively monoculture? Is that being covered off?
Perhaps I could just observe that the National Environmental Standards for Commercial Forestry just got gazetted in the last couple of days, and that actually gives councils more power to manage slash taken from forestry operations of a size of 10 centimetres diameter, and it has to be removed offsite by the operator. And so there's a lot of other regulatory tools now in place, and that's in direct response to the Tarawhiti situation in terms of the negative impacts on the community, the rural communities of that coast. So going back to kind of the nature of the biodiversity credit system is that, as Taran has indicated, it's there to try and support positive responses for biodiversity outcomes, and that will sort of hopefully marry up with some of the regulatory tools we have.
And in similar fashion, the council is able to feed in before it's concluded, Madam Chair.
You've got the submission, the draft submission in the agenda. How long has Councillor Walker got?
So I think we've got a timeline, Taran, but if there are particular views that people wish to come back to us with by the 20th, I think it was, 26th? 20th.
Thank you. Any other questions? Any comments? Thank you both very much.
Thank you.
I would like to move the recommendations. Sorry, already been moved. Put it to the vote. All those in favour? Against? That's carried. Okay, now we've got Mary Louise coming to speak to us. Item 16 on Auckland Council Group Māori Outcomes Report. And Luann Valentine. Kia ora, thank you. Oh, Kieran, would you like to move it? Is she there? No. Oh, yeah. She's not there.
Yes, please.
Thank you. And a seconder. Ed. Thank you.
Kia ora koutou katoa. So we'd like to present Te Pūrongo Te Konihera o Tamaki Makaurau Ngā Huanga Māori, the Auckland Council Māori Outcomes Report for 22-23. This is the fifth such Māori Outcomes Report, which contributes to Council's understanding of our Council Group contribution while identifying areas for improvement and focus. So I won't go through the report in detail, but it does highlight several achievements through the year and some of our ongoing challenges as well. And first for this report, it does include the reporting against Kia ora Tamaki Makaurau measures. So you'll see that's been included. Happy to take any partai.
Thank you. And are there any partai? Any comments? No. I'll put the recommendations. All in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you both. Thanks for waiting all day. We've done 17 and 18. We'll move to summary of thank you, Councillor Walker. A seconder, Councillor Henderson. Item 21, there is no extraordinary... Oh, sorry. All in favour? Yes. Yeah. Item 21, considering there's no extraordinary business, and now we are going to move into confidential. Thank you. That was Walker Darby, and while we do that, if you'd like to go and have a quick break.